What's up guys, Speed here, and in today's video I want to talk strictly about split pushing. How do you know how to split push on any hero, what should you be looking for, how to do it effectively, and what are the purposes? Because frankly, split pushing is the best way to gain MMR, and why is that? Split pushing does a couple things in particular that people don't fully understand or look over. First off, split pushing creates map pressure, and it actually allows you to make plays. This is the first thing I want everyone to understand. When you split push, and I don't necessarily mean hitting the tower, so I almost want to rephrase it to split farm or pushing in creep waves onto the enemy side of the map, right? I guess that's how I'll describe it. What it does is it allows you to make plays because the enemy team is going to show themselves on those creep waves. In addition, it really gives you information. If the enemy team is not pushing in a bottom creep wave that is at their tier 2, you most likely know that that enemy team is mid or top. Now that is not a guarantee, but it is very close to it, especially in pubs. And this is why you must do it. Now the second half that I want everyone to understand is that splitting up the map is the best way to win in solo queue because, and mainly for this reason, it allows you to gain the most net worth possible, right? It is the best thing to do for net worth. Fighting is not, unless you happen to get a rampage every single fight, it is the best way to do it, right? Typically, pro players, they find some sort of a mix between fighting and farming, especially if they are a space creating hero. But for the most part, if you're trying to learn how to gain MMR, you want to learn how to push in waves, and that is what I will show you how to do today. This pro guide you're about to see is one of hundreds just like it over at gameleap.com. Gameleap is your #1 stop to become a specialist in your desired role fast. Check us out today with the discount link in the description below to unlock your hidden potential, but for now, let's hop into the video. So funny enough, I'm showing you an example where I go this kind of a meme Wraith King build. In general, this was an unranked game, and everybody was Speed, it's unranked, it doesn't mean anything. Like, I also lost this game, funny enough, so you could discredit it even more if you wanted to. But really, I just want to show the concepts and my ability to almost win a seemingly hopeless game through split pushing. Now, of course, the game seems fine right now. We are 3k net worth up, but really, there's a couple things you should be doing when split pushing. The first one is looking at the map, and this is the most important ability to develop if you're trying to gain MMR. I'm sure a lot of you have watched NoTail's recent video where he was casting a tournament. I believe he posted it around a week ago, and what he said, one of his quotes, is if you want to become high MMR, now I'm paraphrasing, but if you want to become high MMR, you should become best friends with your minimap, right? And this is unbelievably true. Right? Unbelievably true. The minimap is crucial for understanding when to make plays, which creep waves you can farm, etc. Now at this point in the game, when I'm looking at the map, what do I see? Well, I see an Underlord top, I see a Legion in the jungle, and I saw a Faceless Void bottom. So, I proceed to back after I push in the creep wave. And it's really this simple. Now, for efficiency's sake, I'm going to be taking the nearby camp, and now I see them running at me. Obviously, this isn't an optimal play, but really what you're trying to do when split pushing is drag the enemy team from one side of the map to the other. So I got them all the way from top, all the bottom. Now, if we look at the enemy team and their general positioning, they have 3 heroes bottom and an Arc Ward in bottom. Underlord is staying top, which I'm actually kind of cool with. Like, I think he's making a good play in that regard. I'm glad he isn't TPing in. But really, what you're trying to do to create a net worth lead in these pubs is get the enemy team from one side of the map to the other. So, when you are split pushing, do not die. Don't die. I see a lot of people that just kill themselves because they're like, yeah, I was just pushing the lane. No, you need to learn how to push in a lane and pay attention to, hey, they're showing top. It's safe. Or they're not showing top, and top is pushing into their tier 3, and they're not on the map, right? Then you can assume they are ganking you. All of these things come into play, and I'll continue to delve into them. But really, as you can see here, after I pushed in bottom and got them to TP bottom, I'm off to top. Now, once again, we didn't feel like we could teamfight in this game. They have a Legion, a Void, a Silencer, Underlord, even a very farmed Arc Warden, as he's #1 on the list. So even though we were quote-unquote ahead in net worth, a lot of it was in Midas's. As you can see, our Troll did not have BKB yet, and we have a Techies as well as a position 5 Bristleback. So we didn't feel like we could really teamfight. So what is the play, right? It's to split up the map. And now why can we go on this Arc Warden, guys? Right? It's really simple. Why can we go on Arc Warden? I want to ask you, what happened earlier that allows us to make this play? It was the TPs up before bottom. No, they might actually be up at this point. Looks like they generally are. But at the same time, the enemy team is bottom, so they're not immediately ready to respond or paying enough attention. I believe they do end up TPing in. Yeah, they TP'd tier 3. But it was a quick collapse, right? And this is how you split up the map and make plays. In fact, it's the most reliable way when you're ahead to actually get kills without, threatening yourself. I see a lot of people, they get confused. It's like, oh, I died. How can I carry this game? I went 19-3. More often than not, the correct answer to actually carry those games is do exactly what just happened there. You push in a lane like bottom, you force 3 to 4 TPs by just simply getting close to the tower, you back, you run top, and then you pick off whoever pushes out top. It's really that simple, and I highly recommend you consider that when split pushing. Guys, you need to start thinking about split pushing as the way to actually make things happen. Funny enough, yes, it's the way to make things happen, right? Now, at this point in the game, I'm looking to once again get into a side lane. Now, I'm currently jungling, but I'm always looking at the map. I can't even explain to you guys how much I look at the map. I could be watching a major game, and I'm just looking at the map during a team fight. Like, I'm legitimately consistently looking at the map more than you can even understand at your current place. And that's not like a, you know, like a flame or, you know, you can't get there type of thing. You can get there. All I'm saying is you have to learn to become obsessed. So what information am I gathering right now? I'm gathering that the Underlord and Silencer are mid. I'm gathering that the real Arc Warden is top. And I also see that my Bristleback is pushing in bottom. Now, why is this all important information? Well, I can make a couple assumptions out of this. Bristleback's bottom, right? Only because of that, strictly Bristleback being bottom, and I'm very serious about this, guys. Bristleback being bottom, just him pushing in that wave, all of a sudden makes me think I'm going to look for a play top. Just him being bottom. Legitimately just him being bottom. Because what happens? What are people's natural reactions in Dota? If one of their towers is being even remotely threatened, even though it's a Bristleback without a creep wave, if there is someone even remotely threatening it, they will respawn. Right? And because they will respond, you can make the following assumption that then the other side of the map is safe, and that is what we see here. I don't believe I end up getting a kill onto the Arc Warden top, but I'm assuming that they are most likely going bottom. Unfortunately, my techies gets jumped upon, so this play kind of ended up being quite meh, and I think I had do I die here? Yeah, I think I die. But why does this happen, right? Because you might be like, well, I thought you said you could assume that they were bottom or going to go bottom. Why did this happen, right? Why did this play happen? Let's look back at it, because assumptions don't actually always end up being true. What are we missing here? And what did we not look at? And what do we not see? There's one main important aspect that I want to point out. The Legion Commander respawning in 5 seconds when you are going to split push or make plays. Another thing you should do is look at how long it takes for people to respawn, because when they respawn, they're going to look to TP to fights. It's a very common thing that people do, and as a result, the techies actually shows in the top wave, and I could have been like, oh, techies is showing top, that is just as much of a threat, or just something they'll react to as much as the Bristleback is. In fact, more so, because he's deeper down the lane. Therefore, they'll gank him, but I did not take this into consideration, and I died because of it, right? And it's actually making me think, just from rewatching this, people probably, more often than not, go for the person who is farthest up. Right? So if you see a teammate at their top tier 3 and a teammate at their bottom tier 1, you should most likely assume that they will first prioritize the teammate at the top tier 3. Now, once again here, we're looking at the situation. How do I make a decision whether or not I want to fight here? Let's take a close look at the fight. How do I know if I should split push or fight? Well, currently, Faceless Void, very, very strong. All we have here is our support Bristleback and our support techies. Neither of my other cores are in position. So do I or do I not show up to the fight? The answer is I do not, right? I do not show up to the fight. And you guys have to think about this. Now, where do I go? Do I just lollygag around mid? No, I instantly run bottom, because this is always what's going through my head. If I can't fight, where do I go? Right? I mean, my team died, very unfortunate. There's frankly nothing I could have done to change that. I get bottom, right? You have to get in lanes, otherwise your team will get run over and you will not snowball. Now, once again, do not copy this item build. Do not go play Wraith King and do what I am doing here. I do not recommend it. I'm using this as strictly an example. But look, because I get to bottom immediately, I am able to make this play, right? If it took me a long time to get to bottom, I guarantee this just does not work out like this, right? It would not work out like this because they're taking our mid racks right now, right? Not too good. It's really, really not too good. But because I got to bottom very quickly, I'm able to actually take a range tracks. Not optimal, I end up dying. But look at the state of the game. We couldn't take team fights, we're getting picked off, and I'm sure you guys see this in pubs all the time. I hear people like, oh, my team just keeps feeding Speed, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm showing you right here. Was this optimal for us? No. But I took a situation where we had 3 teammates dead into a 2-for-1 racks trade. That's not that bad. Things could be a lot worse. I mean, the purpose of my build is legitimately to split push. It's a bit of a meme. That's kind of like what I was going to this game doing. It's why I like this as an example, because I have both of the Skeleton's talents. But hopefully you can see what I mean. When I see a fight that is bad, I instantly, with no hesitation, get to a side lane, because that is the only way to delay the game, right? Let's say our team could have defended mid, and let's say our Invoker didn't die, right? Because he actually kind of went in late there and ended up dying bottom. Let's say he could have defended mid. Then my split push would be even 5x better. So, like, if you get even a slightly better situation, or it's a lower MMR game, because frankly, this is still relatively high MMR. If you're in a lower MMR game, your split pushes, if you go that quick, will be deadly. they will be absurdly deadly. You will just get racks for free. I guarantee, guys. Maybe I'll make a video on it if someone wants to share me their account. If I play a 2K game as Lycan, or what else is a good example? Lycan, Nature's Prophet, Beastmaster, I could split push and have 0 kills and basically 0 hero damage besides heroes that block my split pushing and win. And win. And win. And now we're going to see the same thing here. My team is fighting mid. It was really just kind of a bad place for them to fight. Once again, you don't really want to fight underneath the enemy towers if you don't have to. It ended up being an okay fight, and I told you that I'm sort of memeing. But what am I doing when I'm split pushing here? Where is my focus? It's actually strictly on the mid lane. I am not focusing on these creeps almost whatsoever. You notice my hero is basically just auto-attacking. My eyes are on the minimap. In fact, I probably should click over to mid to see, you know, who's TPing or who's looking to TP. This ended up not really working. I did buy a Shadowblade to get out, so I lived. Shadowblade is broken in solo queue, by the way. Just keep that in mind, guys. It is, if you're trying to split push, buy a Shadowblade. It's just like, I'm actually not being facetious about this. I'm extremely serious. If you're trying to split push, or you feel like your team needs someone to make space and delay the game, buy a Shadowblade. I am 100% serious. And no, this is not something that works occasionally. Shadowblade is just broken if you're split pushing because not everyone carries detection. Okay, next thing up here, I want to talk about TPs and how to know when to TP across the map. So here, once again, I TP top here. Only reason I TP top is based upon these mines that I have set up here. I've seen that they've pushed this wave in really deep, and when a wave gets pushed in really deep, it ends up becoming generally safe in the majority of games. Not always. I'm not saying every time you see a wave under your tower, it's a good place to TP. Once again, you have to be looking at the map to make that assumption, but in this case, I was correct, and I also had an inkling that they were bottom, or I saw them earlier. Don't exactly remember which one it was, but as you can see, my ability to get to side lanes and not jungle is really the only thing that's preventing us from having to take team fights, which we frankly don't feel like we can take that well. Maybe we could have if we smoked up as 5. That could be a legitimate play, which is something to keep in mind. When you're split pushing, you're going to get people to spread out, and one of the best ways to take advantage of that when you get them to spread out and you get them to TP is actually to go back and fight, right? This is something that Animage does a lot. One of the benefits of Animage is his ability to get in the map, and when he gets in the map, right, and gets in the lanes, what he does is then he TPs back, and he finally cleans up the fight, and that's one of the main benefits of split pushing. It actually opens up good fights. Very often in your pubs, you'll see situations where there's just 2 teams standing next to a tier 1 tower, just waiting for things to happen. I call it the Mexican standoff. You maybe have heard me refer to it in the past, and this happens a lot in Dota. And the way to break it down and just completely snowball the game is to ignore it, split up the enemy team, and then once they split up, then you actually go take the fight. Easy money, easy Dota. And finally here, the only reason I can keep going top is because I'm paying attention to what threatens me. I see that the Void is not TPing back, I see the Legion, I see the Underlord, I see the Silencer, and I see the Arc Warden, so I can keep going. Now the Legion is TPing back, but I don't necessarily have to be particularly afraid of her. My eyes, guys, my eyes right now, I guarantee you, they're on the minimap. I am barely looking here. Now, of course, Legion ends up coming in. I thought I could actually kill her if she overstepped. She doesn't, but I end up just going for the throne. This doesn't end up working out. We do eventually make the retreat play. But you notice, once again, game delayed. They're 12k up, and I got a tier 4. Was it optimal? Not necessarily, but it's giving us a chance to win. Now, once again, here, guys, very similar situation. What am I looking at? Why do I know I'm safe? I am only looking at the minimap. It's why I have the hero icons on, and it's why I can't stress them any more than I have in the past. I can see that there's an Underlord, a Void, a Legion, a Silencer. The only person missing is Arc Warden, which I know, which is why I'm slightly hesitant. Actually, in fact, I was hesitant, so what I did, which you'll see when I'm split pushing, this is a little bit of a tip and a trick here. After I clear the wave, after I kill it, I fake back, right? You'll see this one little movement that actually makes it seem like I back. And from their perspective, I actually don't know if I messed it up or not, but we'll see. Let's say it's their perspective and they're looking at me. It will most likely look like my hero icon is backing after I push in the wave. Just pay attention to the minimap here. I kill the wave. He actually clicks on me, and look, I'm backing. Oh no, okay, it caught me going forward. So I actually made a mistake, guys, but keep that in mind. There's lingering vision after you kill a creep wave. They end up having a ward anyway, so they would have seen me. But really, you can abuse that lingering vision and back for a good 2 seconds, and then if you come back, people will assume you left, but you actually stayed, and it's really, really powerful when split pushing. It will kind of make people feel like you're not there anymore. Now, at this point, I knew that they had a tier 4 missing, and I had BKB TP, as long as, Faceless Void didn't bash me, so I ended up going for their throne. I forced the glyph, which is hype, and then I BKB TP out, which is huge. Forcing glyphs when split pushing is a big deal, and it almost allowed us to win this game. Really, really close. But once again, once I force the TP's top, what do? Immediately to bottom, no hesitation. If you wait, you lose your chance. Now, this is where the game ends up coming down to the wire. I pushed in the lanes right away. I'm going to give a little bit of a backdoor tip in a second. But what you can do to actually enable backdoor faster than what you might expect here is that I know the creep wave is coming up, right? And instead of actually killing it here, because backdoor disables somewhere around this area, I don't know the exact measurement, it's somewhere around here. But what I do to get my creep wave further in is I just drag the wave rather than killing it. And this allows my creeps to actually get in a bit earlier, right? So now backdoor goes down. I was going for the base. We're hitting it. We got the damage challenge. We got a glyph. We're hitting it. No! I get bashed twice in a row! Ah! But look at this, guys. I would have won, alright? The split pushing and the forcing the glyph earlier would have secured me the victory royale. But unfortunately, Void, like, come on. Bash. Dude, oh my god. I was so mad. Look at that. Oh my god. Dude. That would, oh. No. But I really want to show you guys that game. All jokes aside though, hopefully you've learned quite a bit about split pushing. Understand that regardless of if you're ahead or behind, pushing in 1 or 2 ways is effective. Now you do not have to go to the length that I've shown in this video. You do not have to endlessly split push until the game legitimately ends. This was an extreme example where I felt like based on my team comp, it could work. However, what you want to do in pubs is force the TPs. That's a big deal, right? Getting people to run around and spread out the map. It's a good way to shut down people's farm because they're going to, just when people group 3 or 4 heroes, they're not getting XP and they're not getting gold. They're splitting it. They already lost. Like, you don't have to kill them. You just back and go from the other side of the map. You won. And that is the best way to play any hero that can shove creep waves. Support, core, it's the best way to gain MMR. You have to stop team fighting 100% of the time, guys. You have to mix in a balance of split pushing and team fighting if you want to win MMR. Trust me on this. You watch any pro match, watch any mid laner, they do not gank for 30 minutes straight. They push in waves and then on their downtime, and when they gather information, then they go fight. There's a big separation between any MMR player and really high MMR players just on that ability to look at the map and split it up. But thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe to help the channel grow. I love you guys as always. It's a pleasure, and I'll see you in the next one. Are you tired of being hard stuck at your rank? Over at gameleap.com, we have a library of hundreds of guides authored by pro players and coaches covering literally every aspect of Dota. Whether you're looking to master a new hero or role, or just polish up your existing skills, GameLeap is the proven place for competitive gamers to hone their craft and unlock their secret potential. Hit the link on screen right now, to take advantage of our special offer for a 25% discount, guys. 25%, and start your journey today.